Nico Williams, 24 years old, the man who rejected Ghana and chose Spain. Today, he is one of Spain's brightest wingers, the man who tore the English defense to pieces alongside Yamal in the Euro 2024 final. His parents are Ghanaian, meaning pure Ghana runs in his blood and his family. But the most striking detail is this. His older brother, Iñaki Williams, did the exact opposite, embraced his roots and joined the Ghana national team. Two blood brothers grew up in the same house, shared the exact same dream, but today they stand under two different flags. One chose Africa, the other Europe. This was not an easy decision for Nico. He was born and raised in Spain, ultimately choosing the country that developed him. Yet Ghanaian fans still view him as the lost talent, because that explosive pace and dribbling ability could have been one of Africa's biggest trump cards. Spain relies on his ferocity on that flank. He is undisputedly one of the first names written into the starting 11. Alongside Lamine Yamal, they form the most dangerous duo of the tournament. The next name made a similar choice, but he is not a winger. Another Ghanaian talent who chose Belgium. Jérémy Doku, 24 years old. Our next name is one of the most dangerous weapons to slip through Africa's fingers. Just like Nico Williams, pure Ghanaian blood flows through his veins, and both operate on the left wing. When his family migrated from Ghana to Belgium hoping for a better life, they essentially handed the future's biggest star of Ghanaian football over to Europe. Today, that immense pace tearing defenses apart in a Manchester City shirt is a massive what if for Ghanaians. Ghana spent months trying to convince him, applying emotional pressure through his roots. But Doku's response was as ruthless and clear-cut as his cold-blooded dribbles on the pitch. He set emotions aside and chose the land of his birth, Belgium. Following their golden generation, he became Belgium's new attacking leader. Ghana is forced to watch this talent from afar. Now we move to a player with a much heavier story, one branded a traitor by his former fans. Declan Rice, 27 years old. The next name went beyond making a simple choice. Declan Rice's father hails from County Cork, Ireland. He abandoned the Irish shirt he once wore and switched allegiances. The harshest story on this list belongs to him. He didn't just reject Ireland, he shattered their hopes. Between 2014 and 2018, he wore the green shirt for Ireland's youth and senior national teams. He was viewed as a legendary future captain, but in 2019, he made the devastating decision to switch to England. For Ireland, this was an unforgivable betrayal, and he was branded with that heavy label, traitor. Today, he is the heartbeat of Arsenal and England, yet he still pays the price for his betrayal. Whenever he takes the pitch against Ireland, he is booed every time he touches the ball. Even when he scored against Ireland, he refused to celebrate out of respect for his former fans. He is the hero of the English, but the man Ireland will never forgive. The next name also chose England, but his decision wasn't a betrayal. It was an emotional split that tore his heart apart. Bukayo Saka, 24 years old. His bloodline traces directly back to the Yoruba people of Nigeria. Both his mother and father are Nigerian. But while taking the pitches by storm in an Arsenal shirt, he made his decision in favor of the country that raised him. While Declan Rice's story is seen as a heavy betrayal, Saka's choice was an emotional split that tore his heart in two. When that big offer came from Nigeria, he described the process as the hardest decision of my life. He is not someone who turns his back on his roots or forgets his past. He says he still watches Nigeria matches with great excitement and his inner bond with Africa remains unbroken. However, the realities of the professional world and his sense of belonging to the home where he was born and raised tied him to the England shirt. Nigeria will always suffer the pain of missing out on such a brilliant winger. Saka became England's talented star boy. But what if he had chosen Nigeria instead of England? The next name is a Real Madrid star of Cameroonian descent who chose France. Aurélien Tchouaméni, 26 years old. Real Madrid's midfield dynamo was born to Cameroonian parents. These strong genes from the heart of Africa transformed him into one of the world's best midfielders. Choosing the France national team was a childhood dream come true for him. However, this glorious dream turned into a dark nightmare after the 2022 World Cup final. Following the dramatic loss against Argentina, he was one of the players who was scapegoated. He was ruthlessly judged, not just for what happened on the pitch, but over his skin color and roots. Overnight, his French identity was questioned, and he became the target of organized racist attacks on social media. This incident was the bitterest proof of how a player, despite fighting for his country to the last drop of his sweat, can instantly be branded a foreigner when things go wrong. Cameroon was always ready to embrace him with open arms, but despite everything, he stood his ground for France. The next name is a striker who inherited his legendary father's legacy and rejected Italy. Marcus Thuram, 28 years old. Born in Italy but choosing France, he is the finishing power of Inter Milan. His story has a much different and deeper dimension than the others, because he is the son of football legend Lilian Thuram. Marcus was born in Italy during the time his father wore the Parma shirt. Moreover, his paternal roots trace back to Guadeloupe, a French overseas region in the Caribbean. This meant he faced a complex identity triangle consisting of Italy, the Caribbean, and France. Italy was truly eager to see this top-class striker, born on their soil, wearing the Azzurri shirt. However, for Marcus, blood weighed heavier. Choosing the France national team, for whom his father won a World Cup, was not just an ordinary career choice for him. It was an honorable family legacy he had to inherit and carry on his shoulders. Thus, Italy let a massive star slip through their fingers right in their own home. Now, we move on to another young, rapidly rising talent of African descent, whom France has taken under their wing. Bradley Barcola, 23 years old. The young talent who rejected Togo and wrote his name in golden letters into France's new generation attacking line. Having Togolese roots through his father, Barcola caught the whole world's attention with his tremendous breakthrough at Paris Saint-Germain. The African continent would have truly loved to watch an elite attacker with such an exceptional ability to beat his man, an incredible pace in a Togo shirt. However, Barcola was like a carefully polished diamond in the French football academies, and without any hesitation, he made his choice in favor of the country where he was born and raised, France. Having a star like him would have been a historic opportunity for the Togo national team to level up in the international arena, but this African dream never came true. He aimed to shine in the shirt with the rooster crest, one of Europe's greatest teams. The people of Togo, meanwhile, can only let out a deep, if only, as they watch him on television. Now we move on to our final star, who has Caribbean roots and carries the English attack on his shoulders. Marcus Rashford, 28 years old. Our final name on the list has a slightly different story than the others. His roots stretch to the warm climate of the Caribbean, to Jamaica on his father's side, and St. Kitts and Nevis on his mother's side. However, the crest he carries on his chest has always been the Three Lions shirt of England. In Rashford's story, there is no heated national team tug-of-war or a ruthless betrayal drama like Declan Rice or Saka, because the power of Caribbean nations on the football stage could never match England. But when it comes to identity and belonging, the dimension of the matter changes. For the Caribbean community, he was one of the biggest figures who could represent their island's genes on the global stage. Today, continuing his career at the Spanish giant Barcelona, the experienced striker is a wonderful synthesis, blending the spirit of the Caribbean with the discipline of the English system. Even though he never forgot the lands of his parents, he chose the place of his birth. England embraced him and entrusted their attack to him. The Caribbean, on the other hand, chose to be proud of this immense talent, albeit from afar. Crucial takeaway. Here is the most crucial takeaway. 6 of the 8 names on this list gave their talents to just 2 European giants, England and France. Saka, Rice and Rashford chose England, while Tchouaméni, Thuram and Barcola chose France. When the picture is complete with Nico Williams and Doku, the reality hits us right in the face. Europe's most powerful national teams are not built from the genes of a single nation, but rather from the lost children of Africa, the Caribbean and other countries. That immense footballing power we watch on the world's biggest stages is, in fact, the product of roots left behind and the unfinished dreams of other continents.